Step 4, testing. So again, as we always start with every process, we take a look at the example page that you're going to find in your book, and this is the page right here. So you have three parts to it. One, and remember, this is built on what we call the FPL system, which is the fail, pass, learn system. If you read the book, Ready, Set, Growth Hack, we go into extreme detail how this works in the blueprint. If you haven't read it, you don't need to worry. It's automatically integrated here in the design process. Essentially, what it is that whether you whether you fail or pass, there's always a learning element that takes you to the next step. And the idea is to improve, generate new ideas, or to optimize an existing one. And so, based on those three objectives, we reverse engineer the fail or pass to a learning system, and that's what number 1, 2, and 3 are there. Number 1 is it either passes or fails, and we give it a classification according to the checklist there, and then we look at what are the learning possibilities based if it's a pass or a fail, and then we take a very quick summary. So we're going to go through this process very simply here. We're going to step over to the very first part, and in this particular example, we're saying it's a pass, and there's room for improvement. Okay, what's super crucial here, guys, in this creative process is this isn't about just taking an idea, turning it into a growth hack, and executing it. It's about how do you go to your next growth hack. And if you recall in the beginning when we talked about the system, which is the 1-5-20 rule, which we're going to talk a bit more as we go a bit deeper. But the point though is when you go from growth hack 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8, as you keep going sequentially, your capability should be improving. And as your capability improves, you'll be generating new ideas that have some kind of an origin or a link to where they actually came from. It doesn't mean that the ideas are incremental advancements. What they mean is that one fail could lead to a massively new big idea. Once that's implemented, it can then lead to an optimization, and from that optimization, it could lead to a new addition that goes to it. And so that particular pattern or sequence is a very common one. And we talk more about that in the advanced course, but nonetheless, this is something that's super, super important, and you classify it right here. Number 2 is now we look at what's called the outcome. So in the system, the fail, pass, learn system, we take a look at the outcome. The outcomes are divided by either a pass or a learn, and we make a conscious decision at that point. What is it that we're going to do with this learning? What type of learning is it? What we're going to do with it? So when we talk about in this first part, this is about classifying what that learning is, and we take a look at the 3 options per the pass or fail. And then once we do that, we move to the next step. We give it a really brief overview as an example of what that learning is. Okay, so this is not designed to go into detail, because in the next step we go into the detailed learning. This is designed to quickly capture in a single paragraph what that learning is. It is important to keep in mind, there's a lot of people where I work with them in this process very early on. They feel that there is no learning, or the learning may be very limited or may not be enough. So to every one of those circumstances, that is not true. So there is always learning. It's never too small, and it's never too little or too much. Okay. Each part of the learning, as we capture it, is what will lead you to either improvements, as we talked about before, or whole new growth hacks, because you're going to be linking all this stuff together. And this is what keeps you working through this creative system in a very productive way.